What if the little you that was wounded in childhood, in the survival-based childhood with fight, flight, freeze, fawn, where you, as yourself, were not accepted, so you pushed out a bunch of authenticity into the shadows. You didn't get a healthy childhood. You didn't get the healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. No, you got the survival-based childhood where you had to conjure up some sort of an identity to survive in such a painful childhood. What if that same you from back then is the you that is driving your life right now? But not just driving your life, it's driving you into more and more pain, more and more unhealthy dynamics, because that is exactly what it learned in childhood. A lot of people are actually very unaware that there's a difference between survival-based relationships, which you will be attracted to them if you were raised in survival and you haven't done any work to heal those dynamics within yourself. There's a difference between survival-based relationships that are very painful and healthy relationships that are instead not painful. Healthy relationships that have healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. What if the wounded inner child of you is choosing pain in love? And even more so unknowingly, because if you don't know that there is any such thing other than pain in love, you're not going to go looking for it. People that are used to pain in love are not enticed by peace in love. They're not. Because let's make it very clear, in painful love, you are very much comfortable and familiar with dynamics of fight, flight, freeze, fawn. You're used to defending yourself because you're used to being attacked. So you're not going to find yourself in a healthy relationship because you're like, this person's not attacking me. I don't know what to do with this relationship now. You're used to running away from, right? Flight. You're used to running away from and avoiding pain. When I say pain, what I'm referring to is painful emotions. Your life gets better when you confront painful emotions because they're trying to communicate something to you. In healthy relationships, you're not required to shut down because you are not attacked and abused regularly. In healthy relationships, you're not required to be codependent and to people please and to sacrifice yourself in ways that you would otherwise be comfortable and familiar with in a survival-based painful relationship. Because in the survival-based painful relationship, you learned that it was literally your responsibility. Like, you came to this planet to please people. Imagine that. Imagine being raised in a way to believe that the very reason that you came to this planet is to please people. This is essentially what codependents believe. They were trained from a very early age to believe that they need to be hyper-attuned regularly to people's emotions because it is their job to emotionally caretake people. Oh, I need to caretake that person. Oh, I need to caretake that person, which completely in and of itself violates boundaries. And it's sad. No judgment. You can do what you choose. It's entirely up to you. Making people understand that they can trust what they're feeling. They have choice. They have control over themselves. Instilling confidence into people is the most important thing here. Absolutely. And I just wanted to make that very clear in that segment that I just went through. But what I also want to make very clear is that a lot of people that have not done the work on themselves, that are not doing the work on themselves, that are actually unaware of the dynamic, their wounded inner child. And when I say wounded inner child, what I'm referring to is the part of them that in childhood was wounded, and they're just continuing to carry that energy dynamic with them. Nothing has changed. People that are emotionally immature, it's not a good or bad thing, it's not right or wrong, it's just, again, there's no judgment, no shame, no guilt, it's just where some people are. If you are in adulthood and you were emotionally stagnated sometime between, let's say, for instance, infancy, in the literal first months of a person's life, and say, I don't know, age 5 or something like that, the likelihood that you continue to carry, well, actually, let me make this very clear first. If you had healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation, you would not have been severely emotionally stagnated at an earlier point in your life, because the boundaries would have been in place. Whoever would have traumatized you didn't, because the boundaries were in place. You were allowed to individuate and differentiate, and that's just the reality of how that unfolded for you. But no, instead, that wasn't the case. Whatever happened in your childhood, and I'm not pointing the finger at you. I understand that this is kind of more so like a general sense. I assume that the people that are watching these videos of mine have experienced more severe trauma, more severe marring and scathing in childhood. Maybe they were raised by narcissists. Maybe they were, exceedingly fucked up. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's just, one, absolutely sad. Absolutely. My heart goes out to everyone. Nothing but empathy and compassion. I care about people. I understand that people have gone through stuff. I get it. I absolutely get it. And honestly, this is why I make these videos. My own experiences in life, and as well, however I can, kind of create content to guide and navigate people. That's it's lovely. It really is. But anyway, getting back to it. So understanding that the little you, the inner child, imagine your 5-year-old self, or imagine your, I don't know, 2-year-old self. Whatever you didn't get that you needed in childhood fucked you up. If you did not get healthy mirroring from your parents that literally molds the understanding of self. Let me make this very clear. When in childhood, children need mirroring. They need to be acknowledged. They need to be seen, because if they don't, they're not going to develop in a healthy way. And instead, they're actually going to develop defense mechanisms, even maladaptive, fucked up defense mechanisms, to create attention for themselves. Narcissists are really good examples of this. They have exceedingly maladaptive defense mechanisms to create attention for themselves, because they didn't get healthy attention. They did not get healthy mirroring. The parent did not acknowledge the child in a healthy way, consistently, over and over again. Hey, mommy or daddy, do I exist? Nothing. And then over time, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And when I say, does the child exist? Everything in regards to personality, self-esteem, all of those necessary structures that would otherwise be present in a healthy childhood were non-existent in the survival-based childhood. And so essentially what happens is that if the wounded inner you is choosing pain in relationships, pain in love, the reality of the matter is that they're still in the survival-based dynamic with fight, flight, freeze, fawn. They feel like they have to fight all the time to continue to make their relationships work. They feel like they have to run away because they don't know how to deal with whatever it is that they're feeling, and their that's funny that I say that, they're attracting based on the parent dynamic. And so with that, they essentially feel like they have to fight their way through their relationships. In healthy relationships, you'd never have to do that. They feel like they have to shut down. They feel like they have to go silent because whoever is abusing them is abusing them, and their defense mechanism is to shut down and go silent, and quite honestly hope that the storm passes and that no issue comes up again. And then therefore with that, they essentially end up walking on eggshells over the long term. People pleasing, codependency, believing that in your relationships, it is your job to please your partner. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's not a healthy thing to do things for your partner that they enjoy. That is absolutely a healthy thing. When you can show your partner that you love them, but also while simultaneously showing them that you know how they enjoy to be loved. That in and of itself, it's not like the way that you love somebody might be different from the way that somebody else feels love, like the way that they feel like they receive love. Like if I love somebody, I could love somebody, but it doesn't mean that they feel loved by me, because there are different ways that people experience love. And this, of course, goes into, like, actually, let me make this very clear. I'm so glad that I pointed this out. Somebody that is in an unhealthy relationship and is being very driven by their wounded inner self from childhood, they're going to be very comfortable with painful love. Somebody from a survival-based fight, flight, freeze, fawn dynamic, they're going to be very comfortable and familiar with a painful love dynamic, because that's what childhood was. Somebody that actually respects their boundaries, somebody that is actually individuated and differentiated, they're not going to be attractive to somebody who is used to fucked up, broken love. They're not. And vice versa. That's just the way that it works. But the theme of this video is recognizing the reality that if you haven't done any work to heal all of these survival-based dynamics that were comfortable and familiar to childhood, you're not going to attract healthy love. You're not going to attract peaceful love. You're going to attract painful love. It's a reality that many people believe that love is just painful, that there's no such thing as anything other than painful love. And actually, somebody that treats them with respect is probably going to be repulsive to them, because they're like, I don't understand this respectful dynamic. Why are you being so kind to me? I deserve to be treated like shit. Like, that's literally what they believe. They were probably raised in a sadomasochistic way where their boundaries were fucking obliterated, and they believe that they deserve to be treated like shit. And so anybody that treats them with respect is like, ew, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. But this is the reality of what happens when your wounded inner self goes unhealed with no work on yourself. Again, it's not good or bad or right or wrong. I'm not here to judge anybody. You can do whatever you want to. You can continue to choose painful, unhealthy love, but the reality of the matter is that it is painful and it is unhealthy. And healthy love is not painful. In the very beginning, you might look at it and be like, I don't know what to do with this healthy love. It's peaceful. There's no drama. There's no gossip. Yeah, that's because it has healthy boundaries. The individual is individuated, differentiated. They don't require all of these fucked up and unhealthy dynamics, triangulation, comparison, boundary violations, all of these different things that people that are unhealthy utilize. Healthy love is very different from unhealthy love. Two different playing fields. For people that are very used to sadomasochistic love, this is fun. But these types of relationships usually tend to entail a fuck ton of turbulence and end in exceedingly fucked up and unfortunate ways. It's sad. Healthy love is real. It is healthy boundaried, it is individuated, and it is differentiated. So It's really a matter of just asking yourself, oh, am I being driven by my wounded inner child? Am I being driven by the 2-year-old or the 5-year-old that didn't get the healthy development that it needed, that didn't get the healthy mirroring that it needed, and is instead seeking attention from people in unhealthy ways, leading further and further to its unhealthy dynamics? That is the question to ask yourself. And with that,